Just because the Americans are so good at rattling out accessible and cheap junk food, nobody looks twice when it comes to their food. But there are golden nuggets everywhere, celebrity chef Jamie Oliver said. On average, an American consumes 44.7 gallons of soda a year, and this does not include the 17 gallons of uncarbonated sweetened drinks. The average American between 1977 and 2001 consumed additional 278 calories, in which 40% came from empty calories of soda. Junk food tax is a good thing because it would decrease obesity percentage, lower medical costs, and decrease people's spending on junk food. Taxing junk food will result in decreasing obesity percentage. From 1980 to 2002, the percent of obese people in the U.S. has grown by 20%.
Canada has implemented this by putting a soda tax, but over time, obesity still grew. According to an article from skis.sears.com, targeting only one food group, such as sugary beverages, does not necessarily resolve these issues or these outlined above. Those who wish to vilify soft drinks must also contend with problematic reality. According to Statistic Canada, soft drinks consumption fell 35% in Canada between 1999 and 2012, yet obesity has risen over time.
Lower medical costs would be a result of junk food tax. 190 billion. That's the amount of added medical costs every year that are estimated to stem from obesity-related problems. It's nearly 21% of the total U.S. healthcare costs.
If there will be lower medical costs because of the tax on junk food, then there should be lower medical costs for tax on tobacco too. According to Ismail Nadim, an author of Times Colonist, importantly, fast food consumption, a common target for fat tax, might not be relative unresponsive to price changes because individuals may simply switch to other non-tax but still energy-dense, lots of calories per serving size foods.
Junk food tax would deter people from spending money on junk food. Sweetened drinks could be taxed at 2 cents per ounce, so a six-pack of Pepsi would cost $1.44 more than it does now. The money put into the junk food industry is on the rise, but if a tax is put into place, will it discourage people from spending money on junk food, or will it just make them buy less of it and buy some healthy food instead?
Obesity from spending on junk food grow. According to an article from dailytrojan.com, soda tax has loopholes and proves to be an incomplete solution to the country's rising obesity levels.
Junk food tax is a good thing and a needed addition to the junk food industry and the U.S. economy. Junk food tax will decrease the obesity rate and help accomplish the mission of the United States to become a healthier nation.
Taxing junk food will be as effective as taxing tobacco products. Ever since obesity grew around the world and junk food started to increase, there were arguments made by many about taxing junk food. Many arguments were also against it. Some countries even implemented it, like Mexico, but sadly that attempt in Mexico is failing. I think taxing junk food is bad because it won't be that effective in changing behavior. Instead, people need education on healthier alternatives to junk food, and we need to make healthier food less expensive and more available for the poor. Junk food will not be effective in changing people's behavior. According to Susie Ferry from theconversation.com, part of the attraction of takeaway food is that it provides the instant satisfaction while demanding in little of way of cooking skills or nutritional knowledge. This shows that even though you could put taxes on junk food, there's still fast food and that has gravitational pull on many people. It's tasty and fast to get. Also, according to thedailytrohan.com, the soda tax has loopholes and proves to be an incomplete solution to the country's rising obesity levels. This evidence shows that the tax on soda wasn't actually that effective, and it's barely even changed people's behavior. According to Ismail Nadim, an author of New York Times, importantly, fast food consumption, a common target for a fat tax, might be relative unresponsive to price changes because individuals may simply switch to non-tax, but still energy-dense, lots of calories per serving size foods. This shows that even if you tax one food, they could move on to the next. It doesn't have to be a junk food to have high calories. It could be a cooked meals that families might eat when they go out.
Taxing junk food will deter people from buying junk food. People that are buying the junk food won't want to spend more money just to get the junk food, so they'll have to buy healthy food.
Also, instead of taxing junk food, we need to teach people about eating healthy and limit how much junk food is actually available in places like schools. According to dailytrojan.com, for Mexico, instead of soda tax, Mexico should adopt an interrogated approach, which focuses on proper nutrition and exercise, not just criminalizing soda and junk food. This piece of evidence shows that we have to show them what good food can get them. It kind of shows that we have to let everyone know about nutrition. We also have to tell them beforehand about the health risks of unbalanced diet. Also, according to Nadim Ismail from New York Times, an author of New York Times, targeting only one food group, such as sugary beverages, does not necessarily resolve these issues or those outlined above. This shows that sugary food is not the only food that is bad for you. It also means that everyone must know how to have a balanced diet. They could make the right choices if they knew what foods are also unhealthy, not just junk food. According to a newspaper called The Independent, health warnings on fast food and other bad foods could be introduced, and the food and drinks makers encouraged to do still more to highlight fat and sugar content in labeling. It will be a mental barrier to those who buy junk food. Many people know junk food is bad, but still buy it because they purposely think to themselves to ignore the fact. They purposely think to themselves that there's no labeling sale for the food and it's full of calories you need. Some people look over them because they don't see the actual signs saying this is bad for you. Mostly, all the calorie information are on the back of junk food beverages. So it'd be better if they put it on the front, and if it's bigger.
Just because people are willing to teach people about junk food doesn't mean they'll listen and buy healthier food.
Instead of taxing junk food, we should make healthy food less expensive and more available to the poor. According to an article from an academic base called Skizzers.com, further, lower socioeconomic classes are typically more dependent on fast food for nourishment, but both suggest that a tax on less healthy food / fattier food options will have disproportionate effect on lower income Canadians. It will hurt them if they had to pay the tax. The reason why they buy junk food is because they don't have enough money to afford healthier diet. The taxes increasing will risk one of their only ways to survive. Some might not could even afford the extra payment for the junk food tax. And according to an article from dailytrohan.com, instead of taxing these items as means to deter people from buying them, the government should address the unequal access to healthy options. The government should look at how the poor people have almost no healthy food. They should also see that healthy food is actually expensive and the junk food is less expensive. Instead of trying to make the junk food prices go higher, they should make the healthy food prices drop, which at least gives the poor of having the right diet. And it also gives them a chance to make the right choice. Also, according to Susie Ferry, an author from theconversation.com, but labeling also works best when your options are equally convenient and equally available, sitting side by side for comparison on the supermarket shelf or a food outlet's menu. When the author said equally, it shows that he meant by when the when the author said equally, it shows that she meant by price and labeling in stores. When she also said options, she indirectly defined them as healthy food and junk food. She meant to say that the odds might differ in choosing when the healthy foods and junk foods are right next to each other with almost the same price for both of them.
If you make healthier food less expensive, all the other food will have to be cheaper, or it won't run the economy like it has been, and the economy will crash.
I think taxing junk food is bad because it won't be that effective in changing people's actions. Instead of taxing, we have to give them the right information about nutrition and make healthy foods available for people with low incomes. Furthermore, taxing junk food will be as effective as taxing tobacco.